Greetings to everyone. Welcome to Utkabirul, the city designed by Group 12. The name Utkabirul means flourishing and never ending, which our city would be. So at the core of a city design, there were nine basic criteria: land, water, and air quality, waste management, eco-friendly economy, developmental planning, human resource development, sustainability, biodiversity, transportation, and green innovation. For the criteria, we were inspired by the EAP objectives, the European Green Leaf Award, European Green Capital Award, and the Asian Green City Index criteria, to which we were introduced in the forum itself. So let us begin with land, water, and air quality. This graphic here is an accurate representation of what our focus would be regarding land quality. Urban farming can be utterly useful to merge the roles of city and countryside. Water reclamation will be practiced to use to tackle the problems of potable water. And we'll be working towards recovering nutrients from the soil and using local water resources as much as possible. Water quality. Groundwater stabilization is of utmost importance in any city. We have made sure that there would be enough drain spaces so that the retention of water and keeping the groundwater table stable is possible. What are the practices enough? Improvements in storm drainage system. Wells are drilled to recharge underground aquifers. Ecological design recharge ponds, artificially recharge shallow aquifers. So this is the layout of Chulalongkorn University Centenary Park. As Mr. Paul Zimmerman talked about public gardens and green spaces, the concept of Chulalongkorn University Centenary Park can be integrated in our city. The detention lawn, the retention pond, and the wetlands can help conserve water and promote biological diversity in cities, which is quite rare. Air quality. In order to control the pollution levels and maintain a good AQI in a city, we have tried to adopt many innovative methods, one of them being the adoption and the installation of vertical forests. Vertical forests are such an innovative method when it comes to cities where the space is less and less. Capturing pollution to use as ink. Air ink from Gravity Labs is one of the most innovative methods in which ink is made out of pollutants in air. Installing pollution sensors in street lights. Street lights in our city will be equipped with pollution detectors, light sensors, rain gauge, RF antenna to provide real-time information about AQI and the surroundings of the street light. So let us move on to sustainability. So the first question that pops up in our mind is, why is Utkabirul a sustainable city? Our city has a strong social, economic, and environmental performance, having good score when it comes to pollution, transportation, energy, or sanitation. So sustainability in Utkabirul will look something like this. We'll be encouraging local food production the most. We'll be giving priority to waste reduction. Even more important than waste management is waste reduction. Buildings that do well in the LEED rating will be promoted and encouraged. Now moving on. The Utkabirul's idea of sustainability works in synergy with SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. So we are trying to bring our city to international standards. Thus, our focus would be something like this: safe and affordable housing, inclusive and sustainable urbanization, and reducing the environmental impacts of cities and providing access to safe and green spaces to everyone. So what we are trying to do is to promote environmental friendly infrastructure, at the same time reducing social deprivation and social exclusion. Renewable energy, one of the most prominent topics that can be talked about today, and thus we are adopting it in our city. We are trying to enforce this as much as possible and trying to reduce the use of fossil fuels, wind power, tidal energy, and solar energy. Tidal energy, especially when you live near the sea, and tidal energy has a great energy density when it comes to the other renewable energy sources. All these three are cost effective, they are more sustainable than the current modes of energy, and do not produce any toxic waste. Developmental planning. So factories in Utkabirul. Utkabirul will be unique in the sense that we'll be moving forward to a future of high-tech, small-scale production. This new way of production offers incredible possibilities, and internet and the open source software allows peer-to-peer design and production. Schools in Utkabirul. We all have struggled with grades and academics, And that is where Utkavilil comes in play. Studies have shown that students' test score can improve up to 20% when kids learn in green classrooms. And thus, a school in Utkavilil will look something like this. Sun loops, sun loops and balcony which exclude intense sunlight, low need of artificial lighting. We'll be adopting rainwater harvesting techniques and technologies, and natural cooling using structural design and insulating material will be used so as to reduce the use of machinery like air conditioners. Hospitals in Utkaviril. By not just focusing on infrastructure, we are trying to focus on building staff competency, platforms for patient engagement, staff talent management, and high quality, safe, efficient, and effective care for everyone. So what was our logical planning approach? The public entrance needs high visibility and easy access. The outpatient entrance, on the other hand, has to be visible but separate from inpatient department. The emergency medicine needs a separate way from public traffic but convenient to outside access. Fire stations in Utkaviril. In Utkaviril, systems make faster information. The information is dispatched much faster about smoke, hazardous material, temperatures, video, etc. So design that you see on my screen is one of the most widely approved designs so that the fire trucks can be parked in such a way that they can exit quickly and they can always have adequate water supply. Let's talk about airports of Utkaviril. So we all have a sense that airports are just a stop for commute, but in our city, airports would be attractive, environmentally conscious places to give passengers pleasant places to relax and relieve the stress of air travel. Duty-free shopping will be an important part of air travel experience, and airports could become virtual shopping malls. Biodiversity. One of the greatest mistakes when we do about talking about biodiversity is not bridging the gap between humans and plants and animals. We are trying to enhance the emotional connect between humans and the animal plant kingdom. First of all, Utkabirians are taught to respect biodiversity. Instead of lavishly spending on their birthdays, they are promoted to plant trees and contribute to the funds for the care of animals. So what role does government play? The government has proposed a policy of using 15% of the tax to preserve biodiversity. We'll be promoting products which are sustainable and do not produce much waste. Like, let us talk about the textile industry, which produces so much waste sometimes, like water usage is very high. So we are trying to avoid that. We're trying to shun that. And we are starting relevant plans and campaigns to achieve all of this. Thus, our city will use the above methods: low energy and water consumption processes, materials for recycling. The 3 R's of our utmost importance. They are so essential in any city, and so will be in ours. And ethical practices along the supply chain. After all, it all boils down to our ethics and morality of what we want to do and what we should do. Thus, ethics and morals play an important role in our city. Eco-friendly economy. So, Utkaviril's eco-friendly economy is summarized by this graphic. Smart city solution. What do we mean by that? Our city is moving towards making technology smart and efficient and working with IoT, Internet of Things. Energy efficient industries and factories will be mainstream everywhere. Low carbon buildings and bioenergy technology would be everywhere. They would be ubiquitous. A circular economy. The idea of circular economy is the most inspired one when it comes to environmental sciences. So it means that it is an economic system of closed loops in which raw materials, components, and products lose their value as little as possible. So how are we going to achieve that? Of course, the 3 R's. We'll be investing in infrastructure to achieve all of this and developing markets for the recycled material. Now let's move on to human resource development. So we have divided human resource development in 3 subdivisions: livelihood, education, and healthcare. Livelihood. When it comes to livelihood, we'll be focusing on EEO, equal employment opportunity, where everyone has equal opportunity for employment without any bias based on race, gender, sexual orientation, or anything. And encouraging entrepreneurship, businesses and startups are allowed to grow. And by that, I do not mean promoting a fully capitalist or profit-driven city, but businesses can help us to create more jobs and enhance the GDP of the region. Following Germany's example. Germany's example has taught us a lot. to our group. Through January 2017 to January 2022, the employment ratio has seen a great rise. So they have been promoting mini jobs and also have been very aggressive about bringing employment to the unemployed. And that is what we're adopting in our city. Education. We are adapting the curriculum to new needs for skills and approaches with an interdisciplinary approach. Every school and every institution has stick to the formulated course of quality education, and the subsidies in education will be given to everyone so as to ensure quality education for all. Low fee and subsidized schooling will be there in our city. Let us talk about healthcare. One of the greatest problems that we face during these times is the availability of equipments and infrastructure. Therefore, our city will have a fully fledged central hospital with several other smaller public well-being centers. We'll be incentivizing students, the youth, to move into the healthcare center to become healthcare professionals. The accessibility of healthcare. The prices of healthcare often rises because of the private industries and the private corporate hospitals. And thus, we'll be trying to ensure to make them the services as cheap as possible. The law and norms will make sure that no malpractices are followed, and medicines will be cheap and services will be subsidized. Green innovation. To promote green innovation in our city, there will be a center for research and development to carry out scientific and technological research engaged in all forms of environmental sciences. And the other role that this institution will play is bringing awareness and sensitization in people. And that is what the GRUEN project has been trying to do. It is what all it's about, to make the children think, to promote the youth to think out of the box. And this is what our R&D center would do. The steps to be taken. We'll be developing the green industry by taxation reforms, the improvement of AI to help regulate and adjust environmental hazards, and innovating carbon emission monitoring devices, and also helping industries by designing more sustainable industrial machinery. Garbage and sewage management. So in Utkabiral, people are required to use their garbage, to reuse their garbage as much as possible. But the garbage that has to be thrown or disposed will be disposed something like this, as shown in the figure. The segregation of waste would be something like this. Dustbins with alert system. So our dustbins would be quite smart as well. They will be integrated with the IoT, and the sensors will manage the city waste. The Wi-Fi enabled dustbins will set the alert to workers, which will soon be intimidated, and the trucks would reach to collect the garbage. Sewage management in our city. So this is what a restroom in Utkabiral will look like. Soapy water is stored in the tank and is filtered by force filter and surge filter. This water can be reused and help to conserve water because flushing often requires a lot of water. This is what sewage management will look in our city: commercial, domestic, industrial, and government premises. All will be treated in the sludge treatment plant, and the effluent will be treated. The major problem that many cities face is that untreated effluent and wastes are disposed or thrown into the water bodies, and that causes a lot of problems. That would be avoided in our cities. Transportation. Using the transit-oriented development scheme. So what it means is that maximizing the amount of infrastructure and buildings and residential spaces within the distance of public transport, so as to incentivize people to use or adopt public transport. So how is the structure of the road in our city? Our roads will have different lanes for different usage for different vehicles. The concept of crossroads will be adopted in our city so as to ensure smooth flow of transport. And lastly, these are the vehicles that we use. So it is clear that we cannot eradicate vehicles using fossil fuels totally, but we can minimize its use. So since Utkabiral focuses on sustainability, Utkabirals are encouraged to use vehicles which are eco-friendly, like the electrical vehicles and the vehicles powered by solar panels. That's all. Thank you very much. And on an ending note, I would like to repeat Mahatma Gandhi's words. Persistent questioning and healthy inquisitiveness are the first requisite for acquiring learning of any kind. And this is what we follow to create Utkabiral and encourage all other participants to do as well. Thank you very much for your time.